It's strange times for everybody in across the world, and really most especially Texas high school football coaches. That they're not used to being at home. This is a busy time for them, and so we are pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Fort Worth Nolan Vikings. We're joined by Coach David Beaudin. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. Thanks for asking, and thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Well, I guess first and foremost, the most important question is how are you and your family? How are you guys doing?
We're all doing well. We're hunkered down and trying to do our part. But I know we were just talking. I've got a 16-year-old, 16-month-old who is running the house, and we're at her beck and call right now. But it's a lot of fun, honestly, and it gives me some time with her that I otherwise wouldn't have. So I'm just trying to cherish that, but also just trying to survive.
And obviously you're a husband and a dad, but then you're also a guy who plays a key role in a lot of your players' lives and things like that, as pretty much every Texas high school football coach does. That play calling is about 1% of your job. I'm interested in how you've been able to communicate with your guys, what you've been telling them, what's your relationship with them like these days.
Sure. So we're actually, as a staff, constantly texting and messaging each other, trying to find ways to engage with these guys. Because I think, we all know, and I think it goes without saying that we know what the most important thing is right now, right? And everyone's staying healthy and safe, and especially the most vulnerable, and keeping them out of harm's way. That's understood. But at the same time, this team and high school football here in Texas are really important to these guys, and that shouldn't be missed. And so we want to make sure that we work so hard throughout the year on culture. It's such a buzzword and term that all of our coaches, all coaches use. But honestly, we got to make sure that we're still cultivating that and that we're working on that daily. And sure, it looks a little different. And so we today, in fact, we're reaching out to every single player. All the offensive coaches are calling the offensive guys and defensive guys the same. And want to make sure that we reach out and find out, first and foremost, are they okay? Are their families doing all right? Are they having any academic issues or communication issues with teachers? Making sure, food and things like that, they're all set to go. And if they have any other issues, we just want to be able to continue to connect with them. We also have meetings through this platform. Actually, we're using Zoom to have meetings for installation and football. And then it gives us some time as well to do some optional things like, we had a DB coach, Coach Vadnais the other day, just say, hey, this is how we watch film, right? I'm not sure we would have that time to just do a 1-hour presentation on how to watch film. And so there are some benefits and some things that with the extra time that we're able to do. In addition, our strength coach, KJ Williams, puts out daily workouts. The guys have an app through Volt. They can go right along on their phones. So that's put out every week. And then we'll put a print form email out to the guys as well, along with position meetings. And then we have daily challenges that they're doing and sharing on social media. So still ways to bond and connect as a team, I think, is really important. And we're open to ideas and trying to get feedback from our players to try and keep that going and do new and creative things every day, so they can stay engaged and still feel a real part of the team.
And so I guess it's probably fair to say that even though you guys can't be in the same room together, it sounds like to me that like football off season, yeah, it's different, but it hasn't really stopped for you guys.
No, and it can't. I mean, we've got to be able to plow forward, and it's not about putting football or any of that stuff in front of the most important stuff or prioritizing. But it's important to these kids, and so if it's important to these kids, we got to find ways to connect with them and for them to continue to have some sense of normalcy. So yeah, it looks completely different, but we're trudging ahead and just trying to figure out what this is going to look like for us here in the coming months. But certainly not going to kick our feet up. That's not going to help anybody during this time. And I think just for our own, since we're all kind of just in home houses and in that cabin fever, it's important to work out. It's important to get some fresh air. No social distancing is the thing we've all got to do, but you can still do that and still get outside in your own neighborhoods and get some work in and connect with your teammates virtually.
We're talking with David Beaudin, the head coach of the Worth Nolan Vikings here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation at hashtag TF Today. Coach, I want to talk a little bit about your Vikings last year. A remarkable year. You guys run through the regular season undefeated, finish up 11-1. I'm interested in knowing, was there a time, or maybe it was before the season or during the season, was there a moment that you realized, okay, maybe we've got something special here. Maybe we've got something cooking?
It took me a while. I'll be honest with you, and it's not a knock on our guys. We were just so young that it was hard for me to see early on. Which is encouraging for this coming year. But the seniors that we had did an amazing job. Just didn't have many of them, and so that's always tough early on. But honestly, the guys where I think just early on, the one thing I did see and can hang our hat on was their consistency and their approach to preparation. Week in and week out, it was just they knew what they had to do on Monday, Tuesday, and so on, and they stuck with that. And so I thought that was really encouraging. Obviously we didn't finish the way we wanted it to, but I'm highly encouraged by what I saw, especially in our young guys. And again, our seniors did an amazing job. I just wish there was more of them. I think it would have been a different result, but. So that was really it. There was really no one moment. I thought, hey, we got this. Honestly, early on, I thought we might struggle out the gate, as you do sometimes with young teams. It was a pleasant surprise to see how well they played, and it shouldn't have surprised me, because I think the one thing I can say about this team last year was how close they were. And I think if you've got that going, I think a lot of times that's highly underrated. And so they would just, hang out with each other and do things outside of football constantly, which for us, as a private school, we get guys coming from sometimes over an hour away, up to an hour away. That's not always easy, right? It's not the same group that grew up with each other necessarily from first grade all the way through. And so it really impressed by how those guys came together. And so we're back at it again, and we've got to do it a little differently through a computer screen a lot of times, but we'll find a way to get it done.
One of the guys that I know is probably the name that people may know from your squad is a Mecca Megwa. This is a guy who, as a sophomore, was just sensational, an all-state guy. He's not a secret anymore. He's got offers from pretty much everybody, including the Baylors and the Alabamas of the world. But you're the guy who gets to see him every day in practice. I can look at the stats and I can look at the offers and I can tell you he's pretty good. What is it about a Mecca Megwa that makes him special?
Oh, I think his intelligence. Honestly, he is super bright. And I'll say two things outside of obviously his physical skill set, which speaks for itself. I think one, how cerebral he is. There was an example as a freshman. We made a correction, and the very next play he's fixed it. And he did some things in pass protection that when I coached in college, frankly, I couldn't do with freshmen in college. And so for him, his understanding and his role in pass protection, for example, really tough thing for a young running back to comprehend, and he picked it up right away. And so that's when I first realized how smart and bright he really is. And then the second thing is his love for his teammates. And so early on, we were fortunate enough to be up on so many opponents, and so we had our third, fourth running back in there, and he is toes to the sideline. He's just going bonkers for his teammates and on the sidelines, and just so excited for him. And I complimented on that after the first game of the year, and he didn't really think anything of it. It's just who he is, and I wanted to share with him how big that was as a guy who has all those accolades. To be excited and celebrate success with your teammates is a really big deal, and it's a reason for our team success. So he's a special kid.
And then finally, I want to look forward to 2020. This is a team that you mentioned last year was remarkably young, just a lot of underclassmen playing really key roles for you guys. You guys are going to bring back a fair amount of your squad, and I think there may be a tendency to think that that's going to result in just kind of the same looking team. How do you think this team in 2020 may be different from the 2019 Vikings?
Well, I think first of all, our schedule. We open up Argyle High School in the Tom Landry Classic at Allen. Obviously, we all know what that school and what Coach Rogers does with those guys. It's phenomenal. So that'll present. It's actually where Tulia Tungabaloa played high school. So they're going to play us on a Friday, and on Saturday they'll watch Alabama, and they'll watch him in Arlington versus USC, which is pretty neat. And then we go to Red Oak in week 3, and then we open up district after that, which is they've combined our district up north now, so it's a bear and it's a buzzsaw all the way through. So really, just the challenge ahead of us is tremendous. We're excited about it. But I every team's different. I know it's cliche, but it's so true. The makeup of your team, the culture of your team. So that's why it's so important now to make sure that we're connecting with our guys and they still have the same love for each other as this last team did. I think that's really important. And so we'll see. We're at the early stages, but a lot of work to do. But I'm fired up for the guys we have. Again, not just a bunch of talented guys, but guys that are just really good kids, high character guys. So really excited about this coming year for those reasons.
He's David Beaudin. He's the head coach of the Fort Worth Nolan Vikings. Follow him on Twitter at Coach Beaudin. It's Beaudin. It's got that little Cajun to it.
That's right. I'm not Cajun, but I got it.
Coach, really appreciate your time. Congratulations again on a fantastic 2019. Stay safe, and we'll be talking to you down the road.
You stay safe as well. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say how appreciative of the things that you guys do for our high school kids here in Texas. It's really awesome. So thank you very much. Stay safe.